Well, hey, welcome to Monday night. How is everybody? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you. I am Bill Sylvie, the Dungeon Delver. And I hope you're all having an absolutely positively wonderful Monday. I hope you have been enjoying, I guess this is Labor Day, and just chilling out. I made ribs. I just got done eating some ribs for dinner. But it was not, they were oven baked. I don't have a grill. I had a Weber grill for, oh my gosh, probably close to 20 years, and it finally just rusted completely through. And then it went the way of the dodo, but it was good. It was a Weber kettle grill that was given to me by my in-laws, and I cooked everything on that grill. I cooked shrimp, I cooked fish, I cooked chicken, I cooked ribs, I cooked steaks, hot dogs, hamburgers, some of it at the same time, and it was great. Hello, call staff. Good to see you. I'm sorry your day was unpleasant, Dungeon Minister. I watched your video. It was good. It was awesome. Dungeon Minister's got a new video up. You guys should go check it out. Who's up for more Dungeon Minister live streams, either here or on his channel? Give me an F in chat for that. We want we want more Dungeon Minister live streams. Yeah, charcoal is really, I see like these multi-$1,000 grills in Lowe's and Home Depot, and it's like, why don't I just stay inside and cook? You've got gas-regulated heat, different levels, different temperatures on different eyes, and the thing uses more propane than Hank Hill could dream of in his entire life. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm over here, like, I need a bag of Kingsford and an electric match, and I'm good. So, but right now I don't have one. I don't have an outdoor grill. So I do my grilling indoors. We have cook-ins, as I call them, on days when you would normally go out and cook outside. Singeing the hair on the back of your hand. Did you have a crafting accident? Was that a hot glue gun or wire cutter? Is you? We gotta get that man a 3D printer. They're inexpensive enough now. Seriously. It's like my Mars 2 Pro, I think now runs like MSRP is $169 US. That's like half the GDP of Ottawa in Canadian dollars. Burning. That is an autocorrect error. But anyway, so here we are back to Monday. Now, I know I'd said, hey, I'm going to read ELFLORD this weekend, and then Monday we'll split it in half and kind of, we'll talk about ELFLORD, and then we'll talk about Ghost Tower. I haven't gotten a chance to circle back around and read ELFLORD, but it's coming. It's coming, and I'm going to do some serious read through and let you guys know exactly how it is, because if I find it really scratches my D&D itch, I'm going to tell you guys. I'll let you guys know, and then you can go out and pick it up, because again, the first 6 issues from the 80s, $15. But if it's crap, then I only spent $15 shipped. And I don't have to cry for it, and we don't have to waste our time talking about it anymore other than that. Hey, did you know you can buy me a coffee now? buymeacoffee.com/bsylvie. It's a little donation here. I'll stick it in there. Because again, somebody said, I want to donate to you, but just don't buy me a coffee. So, okay, so here it is. Here, you know what? I'll do this. I'll edit live. I will edit live. Do that. There. Doomsword says, I don't mind buying crap too much. I'm crap half the time. All right, man. That's awesome. That sounds lovely. Throwing caution to the wind. And you guys were again talking about seeing horses. I don't know if Todd is out there watching, but you guys like going on and on about somewhere over here a horse or something like that. And I thought, you know, when I go up to 1080p, it'll be easier for folks to see that it's not. And I just think it makes him think that like he can see it better now. I don't know. But anyhow, what else is happening? So this week we're going to wrap up Ghost Tower of Inverness. And then by Friday, whatever it is, it's contagious and it's hopping from clergyman to clergyman. You want to see the you want to see this in 1080p? Well, look, there it is. There it is, right there in 1080p. Glorious 1080p. But we're going to finish up Ghost Tower of Inverness tomorrow night. If we don't finish Ghost Tower of Inverness tonight, we will continue on tomorrow night. But also tomorrow night, we will be playing first edition AD&D. So if you're new to the channel, if you've just come here, we've gotten a few subs this weekend. A few. You know, now that I've said that, yeah, no, I'm at full high definition. I could switch it over to low if you guys want that true Russian television look. But anyway, so if you're just coming to the channel, if you just subscribe this weekend and you're not exactly sure what we're about, let me tell you. I don't know why I got my 80s dictator finger going. But anyway, let me tell you. Monday nights, we do this. We hang out. We catch up. We take a deep breath before the plunge into the week. Tuesday nights, we ramble on. We pick up anything that we didn't finish up on Monday night for the first hour. But then, boys and girls, then we play first edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons, or as my co-host Kyle calls it, and I thought this was extremely clever, critical real. No scripts, no rehearsals, no discussion beforehand with the players. Like, now your character is going to die tonight. Is that okay? No. AD&D, the way it was meant to be played. No training wheels. No padding. Just you, the handlebars, hang on. Dungeon Ministers, I'm watching on my phone. I could be at 400 pixels and you would barely notice. That is every Tuesday night. Wednesday night, there's not even a preamble Wednesday night. Why? Because that's when my awesome co-host Kyle Schuant takes over and we play Classic Traveler. That's right. We got a Classic Traveler game. We got AD&D, Classic Traveler. Can we top that? Well, that depends on how you feel about that. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Well, anyway, Doomsword, I understand. You go do your thing. So that's Wednesday night. Thursday night, we're back to rambling. This Thursday night, if we're not finished up with Ghost Tower of Inverness, we'll continue it on. But I have a sneaking suspicion we'll be able to take a look at all the sights and sounds and smells and screams and corpse-filled pits and rooms of doom that are in Ghost Tower tonight. If not, then tomorrow night. So that being the case, Thursday, we'll start the preceding module. C1, the Hidden Shrine of Temo Khan, which is unique in AD&D because it was the first module to break the mold of classic European fantasy. That's right. C1, well, we'll just have to see when we get there, won't we? And then on Friday, we'll keep on going with C1 because we have a lot to talk about in C1. We have a lot to talk about in C1. On Friday, after more C1 talk, remember when I said, can we top first edition AD&D and Classic Traveler? Yes, we can. Or we could at least complement it. Because we will be back on Friday with first edition Gamma World Let's Play live. That's right. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Would love to see me DM these modules. Hey, I won't say no. I won't say no. So there you got it. If you're new to the channel and it's like you just got to drink from the fire hose. That's how we go around here. Let's play AD&D. Let's explore classic role-playing game materials. Let's play Classic Traveler. Let's talk to awesome authors, creators, and other folks of our community. And Fridays, let's play some classic Gamma World. But now I've talked about this. I have not come to a point yet where I'm sure how I'm going to do this. Okay, so I'm streaming 5 nights a week, which when I tell people I stream first edition AD&D and other classic role-playing game content 5 nights a week, they're like, how? I'm like, look, I just do it, okay? There are people who make great videos, Dungeon Minister, looking at you. There are people who make great videos and they do 1 or 2 a week. And they edit them and they're beautiful and they have sound effects and VFX and like decent lighting and sets and they can coherently get their thoughts across. I can't do that. So the time that I would spend putting together a good video, I just make 5 live streams where I can just bust off the top of my head. Hey, Yang, I hope you're well. Good to see you, my friend. Yang Yan Zhao, everybody. Go subscribe to Storytime with Yang Yan Zhao on YouTube, please. Just open up another browser tab, copy and paste his name at a chat, and type in Storytime before it, and go and subscribe to his channel. I order you. and watch his videos because they're awesome, because he's done live streams with creators, me, and lots of other cool people. Go do that. Go subscribe to Storytime with Yang Yanzel. Let's get him. He's our next guy. We want to get over 1,000 subs. We got no. I was going to say we got Dungeon Minister there. Dungeon Minister got Dungeon Minister there, and Yang will get Yang there, but any signal boosting we can do for Yang is a bonus. Excuse me. An itchy nose. And like he says in the chat, do it. I am sorry. I'll talk a little quieter. A little Dungeon Delver ASMR. I'm rolling for initiative over here. Now I'm rolling for initiative over here. But anyway, so anybody get a little thrill there? No? Is that just me? Oh well. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. Come October, Friday nights will turn to Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu. I'm going to run a very dark. I'm going to be experimenting with Call of Cthulhu, but I don't want to give too much away. About how I'm going to be doing Call of Cthulhu. And you might say, why not do it on Mondays? Why throw out Gamma World for Call of Cthulhu? We are kind of thin on the ground for time to do things. Monday nights, like tonight, at 10 o'clock, I've got an AD&D game that I'm currently participating in, but in a few more weeks, we'll go back to DMing. It's not live streamed. I had some barbecued ribs. I was just talking about those earlier this evening. So, but here's the thing. More than just one or two people have asked me to not kill Gamma World. I am surprised. Gamma World is a big underground hit around these parts. We had someone come in the chat, and I apologize. Was this okay? Cole, was it you or I? Gosh, I can't remember. I apologize if it wasn't you, but somebody popped in the chat on Friday while we were playing Gamma World and said, "I love this. This has inspired me to start a first edition Gamma World game," which is what Awig, come on, man. I asked you not to spoil it. God. Now I'm going to feed you to Yog Sothoth for that. But considering that he's coterminous with all points in the universe, I did, I will, and I already have. Anyway, So there's a subset of the Delver's Dungeon fan base, if you will, all 1,295 of you, who want me to keep doing live stream Gamma World. I can't. And you might say, well, just put it on Thursday. There's creative people that I want to interview for the show, and I've gotta fit them in. I don't want to tell fans of a live stream show, hey, there's not a live stream tonight because I'm talking to so. I want to have designated days, and it's coming down to Monday. So you might say, well, do it on Thursday then. In addition to this live stream, on Thursdays after this live stream, I will be doing a sports live stream for college football because I am a college football fan. It's specific to Alabama Crimson Tide football. Which I'm not going to tie you guys down with the specifics of, other than to say my co-hosts, who are all awesome people, and at least one of whom shows up in the audience and hangs out on the Discord with us. Yes, we have a Discord. But they are constrained by time more than I am. We have got to start and finish. We have a window. And I have negotiated it to be Thursday night at a time that works for all of them. So if I had a guest come in on Thursday, and I'm watching the clock, I don't want to then shoulder them off and say, that's nice. I love that story you're telling about, when you were 5 and you met Gary Gygax and he let you call him Uncle Gary and he gave you a dice that you still have. But we don't have time for that. I can't TV host somebody like that and say, well, listen, that's great. Y'all know how it is. Remember the last time I had Ty Beard on? 5 hours. 5 hours we went on live. I live streamed for 12. And I had Ty on for one just show in terms of it wasn't a special event other than having Ty on for 5 hours one afternoon. And it was a ton of fun. I would not say to Ty, who is a game designer, by the way, in addition to being a high power attorney in Texas. I would not say to Ty, look, we're coming up at the top of the hour. Is there anything you want to say in conclusion? We just had fun. We just roll with it, invite them to guest play in the game. That would be fun. But, so what does that leave us? That leaves us shifting a game away. But if Game World is laying some golden eggs, I'm not going to kill it. Okay? If there's people who love Gamma World, I will figure out a way to keep doing Gamma World while we're playing Call of Cthulhu. I'll figure it out, guys. I just need a few weeks to think about this. It may come to it that, if the players are available, we go to a Saturday afternoon or Sunday night live stream, which bears perils of its own in terms of people doing stuff on the weekends. I mean, I just, one night as an experiment before my wife went in for surgery, by the way, she's doing very well. Thank you for your concern. Everyone has been awesome with your well wishes for the missus. But, I just grabbed the mic one Saturday night and sat down and started streaming. And I streamed for 3.5 hours. And at peak, I had 22 people watching, which for me is huge numbers. I think the most I've ever had is 25. So maybe a weekend stream would be good with Gamma World. But I'm... And then Dungeon Minister says, I can't please all the people all the time. Gosh dang it, I can try. This is not a hard thing that I do. All right? This is not a hard job. You guys out there that work 9 to 5 that actually do stuff, that actually you actually support your families and you actually do fulfilling, in terms of life and so on things, you have difficult jobs and choices every day. I just decide when to be a nerd or not. And anybody who thinks that this is like a super hard thing to do, I mean, I could get a ring light, a camera with a 1080p, a phone with a 1080p camera, and do 90% of what I do in this complicated setup that I have. I just had a nice benefactor buy me these lights and that camera, which is not even properly utilized. That's a 4K camera. If I was shooting videos like properly, instead of just sitting here running my mouth, that camera would be better utilized. Did I ask the OC players if they wanted to do a weekend game? I haven't even gotten that far, AWIG. That's where I'm at. That's when I say I'm kind of moving things around in my head. I'm sort of, it's like, okay, how can I arrange all the books on the shelf so everything is spine up, facing out, and I got enough room for everything? That's where I'm at right now. And now I've spent half an hour talking about my gamer nerdroses instead of talking about Ghost Tower of Inverness. I'm sure folks stopping by, popping in from Reddit or from Twitter or other Discords are like, what the fuck is this guy going on about? Is he ever going to talk about what he said? So that's just where I'm at. Call of Cthulhu is happening in October. I'll figure out what to do with Gamma World. One thing's for sure, I won't add any more. I am sorry if you wanted to see me play Torg or Star Frontiers or whatever, doing live plays of them. That would be way down the road when people got sick of seeing one of the other games we play, or never. All right, so let's get to it. Let's stop me talking. And let's go back and gaze more at Ghost Tower of Inverness. Now, we have been through the dungeon. We have arrived. We have fought through many puzzle rooms. And we have arrived in the Nexus room. And what does the Nexus room hold for us? Because now we're about to enter the Ghost Tower. Now is where things start to go off the rails. So far, everything's been normal. Monsters, kind of mystical traps. Hey, we've been through White Plume Mountain. All right? We've seen weird. We get it. But now things are getting a little strange. Key to the Ghost Tower. Introduction. Although the players don't know it, Room 15 is a time portal which, due to the arcane magics which created the tower, transports those within back to the days when the Great Central Tower was still standing. Moving upwards through the tower, the party will discover 5 levels, one for each of the 4 elements, and finally the Great Domed Jewel Room, in which the Soul Gem is kept. And we have notes, more notes for the DM. An additional restriction must be imposed here. No one is allowed to leave the tower except by means of the recall amulet given to the party by the seer. Although it does note there may be other ways if the module is not being used as a tournament. Pass wall, teleport, and other transportation spells will not work through the walls of the tower, although they will work vertically. The reason for this is to ensure that all the tournament teams meet the same challenges and to ensure that no players become lost in the past. The rationalization is that the entire tower is surrounded on the outside by an intense anti-magic shield to protect it from attack, And as everyone knows, anti-magic shields work both ways. And then we have the little scoring note. So room 16, the chute, a 5-foot diameter opening has opened in the ceiling 10 feet overhead. Its walls appear to be of rough cut stone. The first 20 feet of the chute is typical dungeon wall stone. A thief or a monk may climb it in one round. At 20 feet, bronze rungs are anchored into the wall of the chute, and the remaining 50 may be safely climbed by anyone. The ladder emerges at 17 below, and there we have the air level. I'm not saying pteranodons, but pteranodons. Not pterodactyls? When you emerge from the chute, the air is full of warm, thick, rolling mist that limits your vision to 10 feet or less. The ground is broken and uneven, with loose rocks all around. You can see no ceiling, but the area is dimly lit from above. On this level, as on all levels of the tower, lighting is bright enough to allow the characters to see without artificial sources of illumination. Very thoughtful of you, Alan. Very thoughtful. The mist here extends from the floor to the ceiling 50 feet above, and infravision will be able to see nearby heat sources in the mist, such as the Sphinx, 18 below. The ground is uneven and strewn with stones. Any character moving faster than a walk has a 1 in 6 chance of falling each round. No damage, but only half movement next round. And we have the Sphinx. A large wing-shaped swoop suddenly appears out of the mist, swooping at you with a loud shriek, claws extended. No, I haven't used Bolivian booger sugar. My nose is really runny because I had hot, spicy sauce on my ribs tonight. When the party approaches within 50 feet of the Sphinx, and there we have its stats, it will charge for 1 round of attacks, then land and engage normal melee. And then it's got the mention of tournament damage. It has a layer, an amount of earth and stone. There's a large amount of treasure. 4,000 silver and 3,000 gold. There's also a glass vial containing a potion of healing, a longsword, and a mace +2. Now, it doesn't have longsword in bold, so I would assume that it's not saying a longsword and mace +2. And then we have the staircase to the earth level. A wrought iron staircase winding upward until the mist hides it completely from view. And just as Luther said, pteranodons. They roost on the spiral stair and will glide out of the mist to attack the party after the battle with the Sphinx. If possible, they will attack while part of the party is on the floor and part of the party is climbing the staircase. If attacked and struck while on the stairs, a player must roll less than his or her dexterity on a d20 or fall to the ground, suffering 2d6 hit points of damage. Now, that is an interesting case. If you go through several of the older modules, and this pops up, I think, in some of the A modules, I don't remember, but I know it pops up in at least one place in C1, which we'll see once we get there. Anyway. But it's a stat check. Your stat on D20 or less. Higher stats are obviously better. And it's a convenient mechanic. I use it in games that I run. I know DMs who've used it in games that they run. Don't ever... I recommend that you don't use this as a substitute for something that already has a good working mechanic in AD&D. Saving throws, thief skills. This clearly doesn't. I mean, and you might even go with strength. Like, to grab on. Or alternately, you might dispense with a stat check entirely and say, give me a d20 roll. You're trying to hit armor class 4 to grab onto the railing or whatever on the stairs. There's lots of ways you could go with this, but here is an early example of a stat check. But that gets us out of there, away from Luther's Pteranodons. By the way, Luther, shout out to your gaming groups. I hope they are flourishing, my friend. And it leads upward to a well-lit area. Me on guitar. You're saying you don't want me to sing, Luther? You want somebody else to do vocals? I don't know. I think Dungeon Minister would be on horn, wouldn't he? Hey, they're strange monkeys. They're not for tournament use. Skip that encounter right now, unless you want the party to lose. On the one hand, I'm not proud of that, but on the other hand, I'm very proud of that. So it leads, the staircase leads upward to a large, well-lit area full of trees and dense undergrowth. The ground is rich loam, soft and dark brown. There is a narrow pathway through the otherwise impenetrable undergrowth. The air is hot and humid, and the ceiling is 30 feet above you. Several of the trees grow to that height. I sang anyway. Although the trees are climbable, the tall growth will make it impossible to see anything of use, i.e. no aerial views for easy map making. The forest is so dense that there is no way to go through it without either using the path or using spells such as Speak with Plants, Pass Without Trace, Plant Door, etc. Note, Find Plant is not an option here. I want to find philodendron. It's right there, Steve. It's 2 feet away. It's 8 inches high. It's right there. Good use of the spell slot. All right. Every path the party can take will eventually lead to the 20-foot clearing 22 below. And as an option, we have the strange monkeys. An overly muscled monkey suddenly lands on one of your group. And they are Sioux monsters. Now, this is the second time. This is the second time I've seen this. Look here. Note that the tower is so far back in time that these Sioux monsters lack the psionic powers of their descendants. CF Sioux monster in the monster manual. I believe, and I could be wrong about this, if somebody wants to grab their copy of the Temple of Elemental Evil, it would be very handy if you had it in a PDF. But the show actually has a Twitter, AWIG. I don't follow anyone. I only tweet about Dungeons and Dragons. That's it. Despite Twitter's best attempts to make me do otherwise and engage in that stupid BS that you're talking about. Not that you're stupid for talking about it, but I think we can agree that it is stupid BS. I will not engage, despite their best attempts to drag me into it. And if someone ever comes at me, I will simply block them. I don't wish to be that way, and I will not. But anyway, it says they lack this. So check in your copy of Temple of Elemental Evil, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, and my wires may be crossed, it's been a long time since I've looked in TOEE. I think the Sioux monster in Temple of Elemental Evil is the same condition as these. They're from a time when they don't have psionic powers. So Alan very clearly steering us away from this. And speaking of steering, the Medusa is one of my favorite monsters. So you can have a lot of fun with Medusas. Not My favorite monster, period. Just one of my favorite ones. The path leads to a 20 by 20 clearing with 3 other paths. There is someone in the clearing tending a garden of roses. Their back is towards the party. The figure is slender and about 5 feet tall, wearing a brown hooded robe of coarse cloth, like that of a monk. You hear a soft, liquid singing in an unknown tongue with lilting vowels. The music is very beautiful, but does not sound bewitching. If the party members enter the clearing or calls to the figure, it will slowly straighten up and turn around, pulling back the hood of the robe to reveal a Medusa. All the characters in the clearing and those with a direct line of sight will have to save versus petrification or be turned to stone. Be sure to have the party's caller detail the party's position and plan of action, either verbally or written. If the party members attack the Medusa without looking, then they're fighting at -4. And there's her stats. She tries to petrify. And she is not an optional encounter, by the way. She is not an optional encounter. Let's see. The Medusa will try to petrify party members until they avert their eyes, at which time she will run up to attack with her snakes. At +2 to hit as long as the players are not looking at her. In tournament, they'll inflict 2 points of damage plus save versus poison. The Medusa will pursue throughout the level, but not leave this level of the tower. Thank you, call staff. Okay. I got my wires crossed, but I could have sworn it didn't, but that is where it came from then. A Sue monster without psionics or suonics? Huh? What do you people know from funny? Okay, she has some treasure in the rose bed, unless they're looking specifically for it. If they're searching, unless they specifically say they're going to make a saving throw versus poison, unless they specifically say they're careful, they have to make a saving throw versus poison. At +4, if it's failed, they fall into an enchanted sleep for 2 to 12 turns. Only neutralize poison. Haste, which is interesting, or Keatum's ointment or expiration of the time will awaken a victim. If they take special care to avoid, they find some gemstones, a flawless blue-white diamond, a potion of sweet water, and bracers of defense armor class 4. Why she's not wearing those is beyond me, but, you know, I would put them on her. In fact, do that. If you're going to run this, do that. We'll ask Alan about that. If I was logged into Facebook on this machine, I would pop it open and we would live chat him and ask him. And we have another lovely, I think that is Jim Rosloff again. A jaunty looking fighter. Hey, baby, those are pretty roses. Do you mind if I look at your other blooms? And then she turns around and says, nah, let's get stoned together. Or just you. Staircase to the fire level. The fire level. The staircase leads upward to a stone landing with 2 pathways projecting from it, north and south. The pathway and the landings are about 1 foot above the surface of what seems to be a sea of fire. The flames lick upward to heights of 2 to 3 feet above the surface of the sea, and breathing is difficult due to the smoke and sulfurous fumes. Across the 160-foot diameter circular chamber is what appears to be a wrought iron spiral staircase leading up to the ceiling 20 feet above it, but your vision of it is somewhat obstructed by the fire giant standing before it. And then we have visual aid number 4. Let's see. Let's pop over to that real quick. We are on page 28. So yeah, that's what your parties have to negotiate. They come up the staircase here. G is for giant. He's got rocks to throw, probably a treasure chest, and then there's the spiral staircase. All right. When movement is plotted on the map, it should be easy to see who does and who does not enter the reverse gravity area, 27 below. The sea actually is on fire, and any inflammable item touching or going under will ignite. Any item falling in must make saving throw versus magical fire or be consumed. Any character touching the surface or falling in will take 2 to 12 points of damage for each round of contact. No saving throw. The sea is 5 feet deep. It does look like Wipeout. The fire giant will first try to bombard party members with boulders, especially if they are on the narrow side paths. If a boulder strikes, it will do 2 to 20 points of damage, and the impact will drive the victim backwards in a straight line for 5 feet. If this knocks a character into the sea of fire, he or she must take damage as well. He's aware of the reverse gravity area and will not throw if his line of sight to the targets intersects it. He can throw boulders. He has 12 from 10 to 200 feet. At closer than 10, he will melee with a sword. And we have fire bats now as an option. And we have the fire giant, who I'm going to name Earl. He will not move from where he stands until engaged in melee. He'll throw boulders until attackers approach within 10 feet, and will then fight using his huge sword. In tournament play, the giant's attacks will each cause 13 points of damage. I know you guys can't see this, but my wife's cat is sitting on the far edge of the table, staring straight back at me and looking so judgy. She's just like, it's a little distracting. So there's a large stone sarcophagus with no lid. Inside are 7,000 copper, a ring of feather falling, non-magical platinum crown with bejeweled diamonds, rubies, etc., 8,000 gold. Detect magic will reveal a dwemer on it, but it will be the ring that is producing this, not the easier to find crown. And there's a lovely David S. LaForce. Now he's a lefty. All right. On visual aid number 3, a staircase is indicated. And the verbal description seems to affirm this. It is not on the DM's map because it isn't really a staircase. At a distance of 20 feet, characters will see that it is merely an elaborate stone and iron column. The actual way up the tower is to use the reverse gravity area, 27 below. So the reverse gravity area. As visual aid number 3 is used by the players to indicate their movement and their attack on the fire giant, it should be simple for the DM to determine which, if any, of the players enter the reverse gravity area and fall upward. If 4 characters charged abreast down the 20-foot wide path towards the giant, for example, the inside 2 would be affected by the reversed gravity, while the outside 2 would not. The DM's discretion is required here, but the general guideline should be that a character must be entirely within the field to fall upwards. And any person or persons caught in the field will fall upwards to hit the ceiling, but directly above the field is a 10-foot diameter hole. If a falling character does not struggle, they will fall through the hole into the next level by tumbling. He or she can catch hold of the edge of the hole and hang on, but by doing this, 1 to 6 points of damage will be sustained from the fall. 4 points for tournament play. The option of whether to hang on or fall through should be offered to each player individually as the situation arises, so that all players make their own decision. Note that feather fall will result in a slow, leisurely ascent, and fly or levitate spells may be used to bypass the effects. And then we have the inverted water level. Look on visual aid number 4. I think it meant number 5. I think that's typo. So they land here. Fall into a warm 15-foot deep, salty, sea green water. Struggling to stay on the surface, you can see a small island ahead, about 25 feet away, with sand and 2 palm trees. To the left and behind you, coral several feet high grows on the bottom of the sea. This entire level is under a huge reverse gravity effect, so the character stepping into 27 will fall upwards through the chimney and hit the water at 28. Anyone not catching the top of the chute, that is, anyone who elects to fall straight through, will suffer 5 to 20 points of damage, 12 points of terminal play, when hitting the water unless some magic such as fly, feather fall, or levitate is being used. A character who does catch the top of the tunnel and then falls will suffer 2 to 8 points of damage, 5 points in tournament play. In addition to the 1 to 6 suffered, monks may catch hold of the ceiling edge without taking any damage and only half damage from the fall. Every character who falls into deep water will be able to tread water for 2 to 7 rounds before becoming exhausted and drowning. And here's more stat check fun. The base number of rounds is modified by exceptional characteristics. Strength plus 1/2 round per point above 16, minus 1/2 round per point below 5. Constitution plus 1/2 round per point above 16, minus 1/2 round per point below 5. So if you have an 18 strength and an 18 con, and you might add an additional point for every 25 percentile exceptional strength you have, or a half point. But that would be, let's see, 16 is to be for 8 additional rounds if you had an exceptional strength and an 18 con. Why do giants always seem to have a supply? Because they're so good at throwing them. I mean, why wouldn't they? Greyhawk is a constitutional carry campaign world. Rocks don't kill adventurers. Giants kill adventurers. If a character has not begun to swim freely, unencumbered by heavy items or non-magical armor, by the time indicated, the character is considered to be unconscious and can no longer attempt to remove encumbering items. In 3 more rounds, the character will have drowned. If the base roll plus modifiers indicates a time which includes half of a round up and assume a 50% chance of lapsing into unconsciousness in the last round. And then we've got a whole table here to deal with treading water. The base time to remove armor and possessions while treading water is given by the table below. General possessions, 1 round. Leather, a round. Studded, 1 round. Ring, scale, and chain, 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 rounds for chain. Padded, 2 to 4 rounds. Plate, 4 rounds. Banded or splint, 4 to 6 rounds. And then there's modifiers for that. Yes, Samaral Otis art. And if they're removed from the water unconscious, a Cure Light Wound spell will awaken them and cure any ill effects from swallowing water. However, if used this way, the spell will not restore lost hit points. And then we have an example. Fandrax the Brave. Special note on underwater combat. Any characters attempting to engage will automatically lose initiative unless long weapons such as polearms are employed. Ring of free action, it's normal. Certain spells may be useless or altered in effect while underwater, as described on page 57 of the DMG. The Great Fish, Dinithus, 50 hit points. There's an Exitichil. The island, sand up to a depth of about 3 feet with soil and stones, 2 15-foot palm trees, some shrubs, and a big boulder, but otherwise has no features of interest. In a clearing amongst the coral branches, you see a large metallic hatch with a wheel-like device projecting from its center. The metal is not rusted or corroded. Must be spun 3 times counterclockwise, requiring 1 round, at which time the hatch will unlock. The Exitichil lair. Exitichil lair. So after they swim down the hatchway for 10 feet, a swimmer will experience an uncomfortable sensation of his or her stomach as gravity reverts to normal, and their head will break water after 5 more feet. There's 5 more feet of passageway with metal rings set into the wall. After climbing up, they will see the jewel room. We have the Exitichil lair. There are 10 of them. They have clerics, of course. They can cast cause light wounds. One has a ring of protection +3. And then they've got lots of loot. And finally, the jewel room. You see a 120-foot diameter circular chamber with a domed ceiling 50 feet high at the apex. In the center of the room, about 4 feet off the floor, floats a multifaceted, opaque white diamond about the size of a melon, the soul gem. Suddenly, part of the room is lit with an intense, dazzling white light. As the spots before your eyes fade, it takes but a moment or two, the room seems exactly the same. The object of your quest is before you. Dungeon Minister's back. Hello. YouTube is just now catching up. Our YouTube comments are just now catching up. I don't know. So it blasts out this ray at random. And you have a sector map. You roll a d8. It will not be Sector 1 where the hatch is on the initial blast. Thereafter, the blast will occur once per round at the end of the round in a randomly determined sector. Since the player should not be aware at first that the blasts are random, it is suggested that a number of rolls be made secretly. And the sectors affected can be determined from that list. This is what's called a pseudo-random table lookup in programming, by the way. Have you ever played Doom? Do you ever notice how sometimes a pistol shot can take down the zombie men, the lowest tier enemy? And sometimes they just do the roar and shoot you back. Doom has a lookup table of numbers built into the code. It doesn't roll a dice. It seems like it's rolling a dice, but what it's really doing is the beauty of Doom's engine is based on the clock that the game runs at in game ticks. And I believe it's 30 game ticks per second. So wherever that pointer is at, whatever damage values are assigned to your weapon determines how much damage your weapon does. So it's a die roll, but it's not. You're always going to do, we'll say, 2 or 5 points of damage with a pistol. 5 is enough to fell a zombie man. 2 is not. Those values are not correct, by the way. But that's kind of what you're doing here. That's kind of what you're doing here. You're creating a pseudo-random lookup table. So let's see. The positions of the characters in the jewel room must be indicated by using a visual aid 6. Take a quick gander at that. As you can see, 8 slices of pie, jewels in the center, Hatch is the little slotted screw looking dealy bob down here. Oh, what page were we on there? Well, I know if we go to page 28, we're not too far from it. A character may straddle the line between sectors, but he or she is then subject to the effects of the ray if it strikes either of the two sections. It's permissible to have more than one character per sector if desired, but only one character in each sector may be close enough to seize or strike the gem. When its ray blasts the sector a character is in, any persons within the affected sector must make a saving throw versus petrification, include only wisdom adjustments. If the saving throw is successful, the character's skin, clothing, and possession are all bleached a ghostly white color, and all magic items except for the Amulet of Recall are drained completely of magic. In non-tournament play, the DM may wish to give magic items a saving throw against being drained. If the character fails a saving throw, however, the other characters will see the following. When the white light strikes the victim, he or she screams horribly, a long, drawn-out wailing scream. As your vision clears, an image of the character, pale and ghostly, streams out of the body and towards the soul gem, getting smaller the nearer it gets. As the image shrinks in size, the volume of the screams diminishes. When it reaches the gem, there is a burst of radiance and the image is gone. The character's form lies motionless on the floor. The body is dead white, as are all of the character's possessions. The victim's soul is sucked out of his or her body by the ray of the gem. The image the players see is the ectoplasmic form of the soul being drawn into the gem. The body is lifeless as it slumps to the floor. Note that any wisdom saving throw adjustment is used against attacks by the soul gem. The gem is surrounded by a 2-foot diameter invisible force sphere. Although it has only 20 hit points, it can be hit only by handheld weapons or hand attacks. No spells will have any effect on it. An adjusted roll of 10 or better is necessary for any character to hit the sphere, and up to 8 characters can strike the sphere at any given round. For each point of damage a character inflicts on the sphere, the character will sustain 1 point of damage. This is true even if the sphere is overkilled in one round. For example, if 25 points are inflicted on the sphere, 25 points must be sustained by those doing the damage. When 20 or more points have been delivered to the sphere, it will become visible, fracture, and fall to the floor in glassy shards. Once the force sphere is destroyed, the gem may be seized. After it is grasped by a character, it will not fire any more rays. The gem can be destroyed by rolling a natural 20 with a magical weapon, but if this is done, the gem will shatter and release the millions of souls trapped inside, who will insanely slay all living creatures in the tower unless the Amulet of Recall is used. If the Amulet of Recall is grasped and activated, the following are instantly teleported back through time and space to the Seer's lab. The character is grasping the amulet, all of his or her possessions, and anyone or anything else he or she is touching, including soulless bodies. And a final note. If the party successfully teleports back to the Seer, they will be congratulated on their success, and then told that because of the familiarity with the soul gem, the Seer can locate the exact facet where the souls of the party members are and return them to their own bodies if they were recovered, or less happily to other bodies if necessary. So that's it. That is it. What do you think of the Ghost Tower of Inverness? Too hard? Not hard enough? Just right? Let me know down in the comments below what you think about that. And yeah, kind of wrapped up quite nicely. I just jumped straight to the tower. The dungeon is kind of interesting. But I did want to get to the tower. And playtesters, well, first of all, it was designed by Alan Hammock, of course. Stephen D. Sullivan edited. Developed by Evan Robinson. See, I wish we could have Alan on one more time and ask him about these folks. Are they part of your group? Did you know them? Do you still know them? Paul Reich III. Let's see. Harold Johnson, which, hey, if you play Basic, if you play Star Frontiers, you're going to know Harold Johnson's name. It's in many D&D products. Art by Jeff D., David S. LaForce, Jim Rosloff, Errol Otis, David Sutherland III, and Bill Willingham. Playtesting by John Bailey, Mike Carr, David Conant, Dave Cook, Helen Cook, Harold Johnson, Jeff Leeson, Errol Otis, Lawshik, and Gene Wells. With special thanks to the many fine DMs who ran this tournament at WinterCon 8 for their helpful suggestions. And, here, I'll show this for you real quick. We do actually have a new monster, the Firebat. Here are its stats, if you're interested. It is very rare. Number appearing 1d10 plus 10. Armor class 8, move 6, fly 20. 2 hit dice, 50% in lair, treasure type I, number of attacks 1, damage 2 to 8, 2d4. Special attacks nil, special defense immune to fire. Magic resistance standard, intelligence semi, alignment neutral evil, the evilest evil. They are not psionic and they are small. And there's a lot of information about Firebats there, but let's just take in that gorgeous Errol Otis art and not worry about the stats, because, hey, you can find Firebat stats in just about any AD&D product. I love this. Firebats reproduce by fission after gorging themselves on blood, so even one Firebat escaping into this plane can start a colony. That's pretty terrible. They are denizens of the elemental plane of fire, although rather common there, seldom appearing on the material plane. And again, some beautiful art. Errol Otis and Jeff D. bringing us the Firebat. So there we have it, folks. Again, that was Ghost Tower of Inverness, and I hope you guys liked the deep dive. So starting tomorrow night, we're going to jump straight in to one of my favorite modules, which I think is woefully underrepresented. Everybody remembers White Plume Mountain, Ghost Tower of Inverness. Against the Giants, Keep on the Borderlands, Tomb of Horrors. There's something so out of the ordinary, so delightfully exotic about Hidden Shrine of Temakon. I love it to pieces. I'm going to spoil it a little bit. It has a Mesoamerican mythological flavor to it. And, well, we unfortunately didn't have any at the table who spoke the original languages. My mother-in-law was actually playing in the module once. Nobody at the table but her was fluent in Spanish. So I kept writing notes on note card and handing them to her at the appropriate time. Like, oh, the idol begins to speak. Hand her the card. read this in Spanish, and it's the dialogue from, and until players would use comprehend languages or other appropriate magics to try and understand what was being said, they couldn't understand what she was saying because nobody at the table spoke Ulman, which is the language of certain peoples in Greyhawk. So that was a lot of fun. I will not be doing that during the deep dive on the module. My mother-in-law is a trooper, but I don't think she'd repeat that performance. But anyhow, I hope, again, that you guys thoroughly enjoyed Ghost Tower of Inverness. We've got a little bit of a surprise with Hidden Shrine of Tamacon. I don't think you're going to see it coming. I think it's going to shock you when it gets here. So, yeah, we're going to start that tomorrow night. It's going to be pretty awesome, and I think you guys will enjoy it quite a bit. That just about does it for me. Any questions? Any comments on the module? Have you run Ghost Tower of Inverness? How'd it work out for you? Why don't you come and discuss it with us over on the Discord? Yes, we do have a Discord. And I'm going to invite you kind people. Based. So you can come and join us on the Discord. And if you're watching this many moons down the road, and you're like, this doesn't work, this link doesn't work in your chat, just hit me in discussion or in the comments, and I'll put up it. I don't know why Discord doesn't just like it's. You call it a server and then you make the link to it go away. I don't understand you, Discord. I don't understand you. Your UI is terrible. It is an awful message retention system. Hey, do you remember when I was talking about X? No, because it's months and months of scrolled up text away. However, it is a great point of live contact with people, which is why we like it so much. So join us up on the Discord and we'll have fun. We can discuss this module, whatever module, other games. We've got, this is just, I'm just looking at this here. These are the categories we've got. We've got a category just for the show where I just post up show announcement and we talk about any events or anything that went on in the show. We've got an off topic. Everybody blows off steam on off topic. Clips and highlights, which is more YouTube links now because I don't really do clips and highlights out of my show. Music discussion. Fantasy art. Share some of your favorite fantasy art. Keep it PG-13. Memes. Likewise. Then we've got Gamma World participants Discord channel. AD&D live stream participants. Wastrel Wednesday, which are our Traveler, and general AD&D questions. You new to the AD&D thing? The bug bit you when you started watching me, but you're like, oh, this is pretty dense information, Chief. What do I do? You can come and talk to us there. We have the humorously named 3D resin printing, FDM, CNC injection molding, depleted uranium sculpting, and fishing. And then we've got one for Twilight 2000. We haven't started a Twilight 2000 campaign. That I don't know that there will ever be a Twilight 2000 stream. I'm just going to warn you up in advance. If we did, it would be a long time down the road. But I do love Twilight 2000. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me tonight, guys. Listen, thank you all for stopping by. Dungeon Minister says, my boys are stoked about Halloween. So Ghost Tower is very exciting here. Excellent. I hope they listened and watched and were pumped up by that. I'm going to get out of here and get ready for my Monday night game. Listen, I love you all. Seriously, I mean that. All of you guys are fantastic. I almost forgot something. It's talking about how much I love you guys all. First of all, if you're just stopping by the show for the first time, just to check this out, YouTube promoted me for a little bit. If that happened, please click that subscribe button and click that bell icon for notifications. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up and tell us why you like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down and tell me why you don't like it. And we'll do what we can to fix that. And finally, I want to say a special thank you, because as you can see, you can contribute to the show on Patreon, on Subscribestar, PayPal donations, or buy me a coffee. And some folks have elected to do that. So let me say thank you very much to Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, the awesome James F. Keck, William Smith, Dungeon Minister, Manny Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, Rob, Jeremy Rule, Boganora, Mikey Mank, Sky Hernstrom, Pete Sullivan, and the entire DM's Council. I'm out of here. Have a wonderful evening. Peace.